What's good, everyone, and welcome to episode 69.
He said it.
Of the
Said the number.
Playconomics podcast, where we break down the business behind your favorite video games and provide you with sweet financial context for industry trends. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Mascari. Joined with me today, the coming back from the gym swole, the headphone having, the Gymshark t-shirt living, Bobby Kawecki. What's going on? The Playconomics Kratos, if you will.
So listen, you brought up the headphones, and I have to say, I got not called out, but someone brought attention to my $15 basic bitch Apple headphones. That person is Sam Adams from Exhibition, an Xbox podcast.
Damn.
No, he didn't. It wasn't like a, oh my god, look at this guy, he's such a chump. It was actually like a, oh, like, you guys do a dope podcast and you're using basic headphones. And what my response to him was, the reason I use these is because I was once told, I won't name drop, but I was once told by somebody to consume your content the way your consumers do. A lot of people, I can sit here and I can bust out like the noise canceling audiophile headphones. I'm not going to do that. Because most people are listening on like a basic pair of headphones or like the basic AirPods. And if we sound good, if you sound good to me and I sound good to you here, and it sounds good playing through a pair of iPhone speakers, that's our audience. We're not here to sit on a pedestal. We're the everyman. Okay, we're here.
Oh yeah, we're the average gamer, the average gamers podcast. That's what we are.
And shout out to Sam. He actually DM'd me. He was like, "Oh, we should collab on some stuff coming up." So some stuff in the works. Stay tuned. Matt, how was your week, bud?
A lot of work. Haven't played a lot of video games. Been very I wouldn't say hectic at work, but just more of a very focused, dialed in what I'm doing professionally, and not a lot of time for side activities. So boring. But we all know what the people are here to listen to, because we all know that as of 2 days before this recording, so we're recording on the 10th of November. It's the 8th of November. God of War came out. You've been playing for 2 days. I'm sure you've already beaten it. Tell us about God of War.
Yeah, I guess I won't talk about my week. That's fine.
All right, name one other thing that happened to you this week besides God of War that was
I was robbed. I was robbed
of your time by God of War.
No, I was robbed. See, People Magazine, and they rob me every fucking year. I submit for Sexiest Man Alive.
Who got
Who got I guess I gotta be an Avenger. You're not an Avenger unless you win fucking Sexiest Man Alive.
Did
Listen
Chris
to me.
Pratt get it?
Chris Evans.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. As long as it's not Chris Pratt.
Listen to me. We live in a world where Blake Shelton was once the Sexiest Man Alive. Once that happened, I was like, it's possible.
That's, get it trending. Bobby Kawecki, a.k.a. the Playconomics.
He was. They had nobody else that year. They're like, get Blake Shelton on the line.
He was probably just popular. Everybody was talking.
Like, I get it. Whatever. Idris Elba, Michael B. Jordan, David Beckham. Like, these are all handsome dudes.
Davidson.
Yeah, Blake Shelton being the Sexiest Man Alive is just as egregious.
No, it's not.
As if Pete Davidson won.
No, it's not. No.
Anyway, that was my week. A consistent annual robbery. And I'm not okay.
Well, luckily you have a nice father-son relationship to support yourself through God of War.
Yes. So the reason we're front-loading God of War discussion this week is because I will be timestamping this, first of all. So we are now talking about God of War stuff. If you don't want to hear anything about God of War, skip ahead. And I'll put it down in the markers below. You've been warned. I'll give you 2 seconds. Okay, we're now in spoiler territory. And I discorded you my review because it's not so much a review. I'm only about 5 hours into the game. So I'm not long enough where I'm ready to give a full...
Yep.
Right? But I've seen enough, I think, where I can give my review impressions, whatever you want to call it. So this is my impression of God of War, Ragnarok Forever. Okay?
I saw you put that in the Discord.
Great title on my part. Zero dong so far. Very bummed. Thought this is where we're gonna get it. Didn't happen. Look, in all seriousness, something odd about God of War. God of War. Let's rewind the clock. When we saw the previews for God of War 2018, the discussion was, "Oh, it's Last of Us, but it's God of War."
Yep.
And it was Last of Us in the perspective, but it did enough where it was its own thing, where the single camera angle and stuff like that. Oddly enough, in the first 5 hours of this game is actually a lot more Last of Us story beat wise so far than the original God of War 2018 was. The game opens up with kid's dog dies. So boom, emotional gut punch there, right? And you can see those beats, right? Mm-hmm. But then the coin immediately flips, and there's so much more comedic. I'm still trying to find what the game is right now because there's so much more comedic relief to this, where the two characters, there's these two dwarves who help Kratos and Atreus, and one of them is like the giraffe from Madagascar. Like he doesn't like germs, and he's like doesn't want to touch anything, and he's like is always getting dirty and shit. Like, and it's really funny, right? And the game is very on the nose with stuff because like one of the characters goes, "Man, it's weird how all the events going on right now are basically dumbing down your powers that you got from the last game, huh? Okay." And it's like,
do they straight up say that?
Yes.
That's wild.
It's hysterical. They don't say the last game, but like from like the events that happen, they're like, "Man, all this stuff going on, kind of making you a little weak compared to how you used to be," right? But some bright spots, right? The acting is fantastic. All the players here, it is just like scene chewing on scene chewing. Christopher Judge as Kratos is just killing it because now he has gotten past the angry man who wants to be a dad kind of thing. Like, we've seen that, and now it's just he's a dad, which is so different for the Kratos character, right? Thor and Odin, though, the guys who play it. So it's Ryan Hurst who played Opie in Sons of Anarchy, and I forget the actor's name, but if you saw his face, he's been in 100 things. He's from The West Wing. There's a scene, and I told you, where they show up and they have like a sit down with Kratos. Okay. And what I said to you was that it is like that first scene from Inglourious Bastards.
Yes. Where
it's like calm, but the tension is being wound and wound and wound and wound. The first boss fight of the game, I'll ruin it here, right? Because we're in spoiler territory. First boss fight of the game is Thor. And it is so... You know that scene in the trailer that everyone went apeshit for where you throw the axe and he throws the hammer?
Yep.
That's the surface of that fight.
Love it. Absolutely.
They do a Kojima thing where there's a quick time event, and you can press circle as much as you want, as fast as you can, until your finger falls off.
Yeah.
And you'll still die. So he kills you, and you see the checkpoint screen, and goes beat, 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 and then you hear Thor's voice go, "I'm not fucking done with you yet," and he defibrillates you with the hammer.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's so good. It's so
fantastic.
So good. So good. Into the nitty gritty. 2 more points I want to touch on here because I don't want people to skip too far ahead. If you've made it so far, it means you've played the game.
Yep.
The gear system in this game is the new standard for any game ever for the rest of time that has gear in it.
Interesting. So they copy and pasted World of Warcraft is what you're saying.
No, I don't know if they have this in World of Warcraft, but as somebody who's not a min-maxer, right, this system would get me to play any game that has gear. Because God of War this game is really, the last game had a little bit where it was like different armor, gives you different buffs and strength and this and that, right? And you could tell that they're really opening the chest on that, where there's a lot of different armor and a lot of different categories. And I had this like visceral reaction where like I opened the menu and I was like, fuck, no, why? I'm not here for this. And the game goes, we know that. And that's okay. So if you press this button, you can just say, give me the best build for defense, offense, vitality, and magic offense. And I'm like, and you guys you'll just do it for me? And the game's like, yeah. We'll auto-equip everything.
Interesting.
You just have to tell us what kind of a build you want. You want a defense build? You want an offense build? You want a magic build? You want a vitality build? Yes. Swaps all the stats around, and I'm like, oh.
So
all
I
in.
love that because a lot of times in games where gear is involved and where you get into that min-maxing area, you're just Googling what somebody else told you to do. Mm-hmm. So, like, why not just make it almost like a tutorial mode where it's like, listen, if you're not into this and you don't care about the stats and doing cool things and, like, the way these abilities interact, this is how you're going to do a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does, in my opinion, and the way that I like to do gear, cheapen
100%.
Because you could have just said, I want to be strength Kratos and picked strength Kratos.
And that's exactly what you could do. That's exactly what you do. And it auto swaps the gear. But the reason it does that is because not every fight, and this is where I want to touch on combat here. I'm not going to fucking sit here and be like, this is the Dark Souls of...
Yeah.
It is a lot... God of War 2018 was the halfway point, in my opinion, between old-style God of War, where it's just button-mashy, combo, hack and slash, and a more thought-provoking type of combat system where it's like, oh, I actually do have to use this shield. Oh, I have to dodge. Oh, I have to parry. Yeah, the shield. It's a shield. So your 3 weapons, you have a shield, an axe, and the blades.
Interesting.
Where in this game, though, it's like, no. You have a lock-on system. You have the shield. Some attack, like, you're gonna get tossed around if you don't, like, you're gonna, almost how, like, a Souls game says, no, you're gonna play this how we want you to play this.
Yeah, like, this fight happens like this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which I like. But you need to almost have either never been in that progression loop, you need to have either played all the God of Wars up till now to understand the ramp up, or this is your first God of War. You know what I mean? Like, if you've played some and then not others, I understand how it can feel a little disjointed.
Yeah.
Combat is crunchy, it's satisfying. The axe, nothing else feels better than this, right? Last story beat I'll touch on here, and this ties back to my first one where I'm like, this is Last of Us. They do the bait and switch where 5 hours into the game, you start playing as the kid.
Love it.
And God of War has that thing where it's a one-shot, no-cut camera. So, like, it's a scene where, like, the kid is, like, looking over the window and spying on Kratos, and then he moves down, and it's behind that shoulder, and nothing happens. And it takes you a second to go, Oh, I'm playing as him now.
That's hilarious.
I
love
don't love it.
Really?
I don't love it because
Is it playing as the kid or is it not being Kratos?
both.
Ah, shit.
So hold on. So in Last of Us, the first Last of Us Part 1, spoiler alert for a 10-year-old game. You play the first 2/3 of the game as Joel, right? You play winter, you play fall. No, you play spring, summer as Joel, and then the winter segment. At the end of the summer segment, this is 15, 16 hours into the game. Like you're deep in there. There's a scene where Joel is fighting a guy and he falls off a balcony and he has like a steel rebarb go through him and the game just cuts black.
Yep.
And in that game, the very next scene is you're playing as Ellie. And you're like, I remember the first time playing that, I was like, oh, fuck, that's brilliant. They killed off the main character 2/3 through the game. So he doesn't die in the first game, but you do play that little section as her, and that was kind of like, oh, you're playing as her now, which in the second game, you're playing entirely as her.
Yep.
That's what I kind of, where it's like, oh, I know this trick. This is cool. I have seen it though. Like I get what you're trying to do here, and I get it. They're probably gonna die, and then like I get it, right?
Yep.
So a little flat there, but
would you be okay with playing as the kid for like a trilogy after this?
ask me when I platinum it. Because again, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this is the game of the year or whatever. It's complex, it's emotional, it's everything I wanted it to be so far. The surprises are just that, surprises. I'm not going to sit here and say they're good or bad yet.
Yep.
But this is not a dunk, but just as a comparison point we talked about Gotham Knights last week, right? And I'll actually timestamp this here because this has nothing to do with the story or anything like that. So welcome back to the spoiler-free section of the God of War discussion. Matt, on PS5, this game runs at 120 frames a second. It also runs at 4K with ray tracing. It also runs at 4K 60 dynamic resolution, right? Like, this is what happens when you have a continuous pipeline top to bottom. And I talk about this with Apple all the time, where you own the hardware, you make the software. The people who are in between live and breathe both those things. And that's how you don't end up like Gotham Knights with 30 frames a second. Barely.
I think there's plenty of other reasons why we ended up with Gotham Knights, but
you understand my point.
yes. Is God of War Ragnarok out on PS4?
It is, but not at the same spec. So you have
that's awesome that they like put that much effort into the new gen one, because what we're seeing now is, and specifically with Gotham Knights, because you already brought it up, said that they're not going on the Xbox One and the PS4 so that they could give you a next gen experience then deliver 30 frames per second.
Yeah, okay.
God of War like spit in their mouth and said, "Listen, we could do both, and it's still better. Like our
than
PS4
anything
version
you're gonna put out."
Yeah. So Gotham Knights flop.
God of War over. All right. Welcome back. Welcome. Matt, let's get into some financial context or industry trends, my good man.
Boom. So what we're gonna see in this, and it is the only GameIndustries.biz article we got today. I know. Crazy. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 UK launch sales are up 92% over Call of Duty Vanguard, and the UK monthly charts of all other video game financial information is also in. So, highlights of this article is Modern Warfare 2 is proving that the Modern Warfare franchise of Call of Duty sells absolute units.
This is the moneymaker. This is the moneymaker.
Why are they making the other ones? In all honesty, who was asking for Vanguard?
Nobody.
If
It was a tormented development cycle.
Like if a year ago they had said, "Listen, we're going to give you Modern Warfare 2 again." 3 years out of the previous release of Modern Warfare 2 or whatever the 5-year span is, everyone would have liked that better than Vanguard.
Well, look, to Vanguard's defense, the one thing that Call of Duty Vanguard did amazingly that I noticed isn't in Modern Warfare 2, and I miss, is you'll remember when we discussed this a year ago, Call of Duty Vanguard had this really cool... it was almost like how when you're playing Smash Brothers, you can choose, like, every stage is the final destination. Yep.
Yeah.
So you could choose, do you want the map to be tactical? Do you want the map to be blitz focused? Do you want, like... And I was like,
remember you saying that.
That's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and I miss that, especially since that goddamn highway map is so bad. Yeah. But yes, I agree with you that name recognition holds a lot, right? There's a reason why the minute Call of Duty was like, hey, kids, you like Kevin Spacey? Because we got him in Call of Duty.
Yep.
Hey, kids, you like space? No, not that. We're taking Call of Duty to... It's a spacier. It's Call of Duty in space.
Yep. So Halo.
Yeah, that one didn't do well. Do well. And you see
neither did Halo.
You see all these people on the internet now like, oh, Advanced Warfare. Bring back Advanced Warfare. I think, scrap the World War II thing. I think your vertical should be future Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
I agree. I think Advanced Warfare was the last one that I played. And I remember playing it and thinking to myself, I understand that this isn't what Call of Duty is. It's still fun. Like, this is still a good way to play a shooter. Like, it's okay that Call of Duty took a leap forward. I'd much rather play and have a jump pad, like a jump. What am I trying to say? Jetpack. A jetpack.
Power slide.
So much rather have a jetpack than a single fire 19 or 1800s musket. Like,
drone strike me now if we have to talk about fucking power sliding on this episode.
Nobody's saying power sliding, although the people in the Discord are asking for me to discuss power sliding, specifically if God of War Ragnarok needs it or not. But as we bring it back to the article, focusing on the financial implications of these trends.
Are you good? Are you having a stroke today?
No.
Implications?
Relax. The PS5 narrowly holds off the Xbox Series X and S in the UK. Which, how on earth do they have a software shortage and they're still outselling us?
Well, it's because they have a hardware shortage.
Whatever. You know what I meant.
Matt, what? Listen, take a breath. We're both here. I know secretly you're mad you didn't win Sexiest Man Alive either. I see it bubbling underneath you. Okay? We're back. We've collected ourselves.
So, how on earth are PS5s still outselling the Series X and the Series S, which have been on shelves readily available for months?
Because no one wants to play on a fucking Xbox.
For absolute fuck's sake, Microsoft.
I would rather not even play anything than
they can't even buy them. And I understand that Xbox faced its own shortages, nowhere near as severe as what we were getting from Sony. And we were doing so well. And if you remember, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misquoting this, didn't the PS5 just have a price increase in the UK?
It did. Yep.
So, the place where your system is now effectively 10% cheaper than a PlayStation. and they can't get them on shelves.
Yep.
You're still taking an L.
Yeah, you are.
Microsoft, Phil Spencer, whoever designed the Series X, the look of it.
The bad design. Bad design.
Let me tell you something.
Terrible.
As much as I didn't like the box at first, it's grown on me. And the Series S might be my favorite design of any Xbox console.
Here is the most odd little paragraph snippet from this article here, and it says the success is all down to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The Activision Blizzard shooter was an October release this year, whereas last year's title, Call of Duty Vanguard, launched in November. Mm-hmm. That's what they're chalking this up to?
I'm trying to think of a way that, because it was early in November it came out, right?
Yeah. Every Call of Duty release date. I want to see how many of these all Call of Duty games release in orders. 2000. Okay, so the first Call of Duty 2003, October 29th. Call of Duty 2, October 25th. Call of Duty 3, November 7th. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. You know, that one.
You know.
November 6th. World at War, November 11th. Modern Warfare 2, November 10th. Black Ops, November 9th. Modern Warfare 3, November 8th. Black Ops 2, November 12th. Call of Duty Ghosts, November 5th. Advanced Warfare, November 3rd. Black Ops 3, November 6th. Infinite Warfare, November 4th. World War 2, November 3rd.
We get it. I can't hear you say another date. I really can't.
But like,
they've all been either the last week of October or the first week of November, just like this one was.
yeah. So what is the corollary there? That is the most. That is. Can you see how many characters this is? This is probably what, like 70, 80 characters just wasted in a fucking article. This makes no like.
When did the most recent Call of Duty come out? Was it
this one, Call of Duty Vanguard? Yeah. Last year, Vanguard was
no. The one that released a week and a half ago.
October 28th.
Yeah, it was October 28th.
So if anything, Modern Warfare 2 is the outlier.
Yes. But what I wanted to point at with that October 28 release date, if we scroll down later in the article, we go to the UK's October's top 20 video games.
Yeah, it was out for 3 days, and it's the number one game in October.
It was out for 3 days. And it was the number one video game that month. And do you want to guess what will most likely be the number one video game of November? It's probably still going to be Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's going to get both months. God of War might. No. There's no way that God of War even comes close, just because of Call of Duty is so adopted on so many platforms. You can't.
So this is from Monday. We're recording this on Thursday. Call of Duty released last week. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has shattered all previous sales records. This is from Forbes. Is this Tassie? No, Eric Kane. Now in just 10 days, it's raced past $1 billion.
Yeah. I think it was $1 billion before the weekend was over.
Yeah.
It was it had shattered every single milestone for anything you could ever want a game to do. Call of Duty did it on launch day.
Like,
imagine if their servers shut down.
How much do I have to beat this drum? It's Call of Duty. Just like the political thing that it's the economy, stupid. It's Call of Duty, stupid. What did you think it was going to do?
Apparently not well. But as we take it off Call of Duty, we take it out of the UK console war that Microsoft is somehow still losing, we transition to a more lighthearted article. This is by VGC, Video Game Chronicles. Big fan over here at Playconomics of VGC. Andy Robinson brings us Animal Crossing New Horizon is now Japan's best-selling game of all time. I want to bring this up.
I mean, that is a shocker only because Pokemon also exists.
Yes. And red, blue, and technically green are second right now. Obviously, barely. But the reason I want to bring this up is because Animal Crossing was such a phenomenon for like 3-4 months and then silently continued to do very well. I really thought the way that we were going to see Animal Crossing was it was going to be a complete culture thing right at the beginning of COVID. 4 months solid gameplay, something else came out, everyone got bored of Animal Crossing. But it has continued to grow and continued to be a mainstay for the Switch. And I love to see that specifically for Animal Crossing because I feel like the one for the DS fell off completely.
Because look, if you're a parent and you got a little kid, what are the two things you're buying? You get him a Switch. What do you get him? You get him Mario, and you get him Animal Crossing because they'll be playing that forever.
Do you want to know what else I think really, really, really helped Animal Crossing in particular? Is the amount of women that play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, look, Animal Crossing was a cultural phenomenon when it came out. Animal Crossing spread almost as fast as COVID did.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it reminded me a lot like of Pokemon Go.
Yes. Yeah, that's right on the money.
Like, you were playing it, your girlfriend's playing it, your girlfriend's mom's playing it.
My girlfriend's playing it, my wife's playing it, everybody's playing it.
The mistress also playing it. Somehow they all have a house
together.
It's very weird, yeah. Yeah, it's very weird. But I just wanted to, like, bring the attention that while the games that we enjoy, because I liked Animal Crossing for, like, a month, and then I got bored of it. I couldn't do it anymore. And it's nice to see that even video games that I can't personally get into still do very well because it means that the video game world is expanding and we're getting new people into video games and we're continuing to grow the video game economy.
Do you have a number on units sold by chance?
I do. Let me just make it bigger. Hold on. I'm trying not to look directly in the camera while I'm reading this tweet.
Why would you need to turn to stone?
No, it's just very small. I just don't want to get up in the... it doesn't have units sold. It has sales.
So what's that total number?
10,450,000.
It's got to be more. It's got to be more. No way.
This is what it's saying on this list.
Animal.
It's linked in the article.
Listen, if it's the best-selling game of all time, it's not 1/3 of God of War. That's impossible. I'm telling you right now. Animal Crossing New Horizon total sales. 39.38 million units. And this is coming from Statista. So 39 million times 50. 1,950,000,000.
What on earth is this article citing then? Like, it straight up says system, title, sales numbers.
I mean, Statista might be completely wrong.
I know exactly what it is. It's the best-selling game in Japan. These are Japan numbers. So 10,450,000 in Japan sold. That's where we get about a fourth of the units sold.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So that is accounting for the miss.
I blame the schools. It's kids today. Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing's a fiscal phenomenon. It's not a hard thing to wrap your head around. People love catching those tarantulas.
I loved it for about a week and a half. All right, so as we transition to this next article, it's not opening, and it really wasn't that interesting anyway, so we are going to get rid of it.
Wait, let me see. I got it. I opened it. What do you think? Because the CNBC Pro article.
It opened. Yeah, we're getting rid of it. Sorry, CNBC.
Hold on.
I already got rid of it.
Ad blocked it. Ad blocked it. Ad blocked it.
Wait, can I tell the people how I lied?
Yeah.
I have another GameIndustries.biz article in here.
I saw it in there.
It's by Brandon Sinclair. I'm gonna move on to this article.
Waiting for you to step on that rake.
Yeah, whatever. Thanks a lot for pointing that out and letting me.
What'd you want me to do? What'd you want me to do?
Tell me. Just be like, no, I think you got another one. Not saying anything. But in this GameIndustries.biz article, Meta is laying off 11,000 of their workforce. CEO Mark Zuckerberg tells staff that he expected the 2020 to 2021 boost to be a permanent acceleration that would continue even after the pandemic. I can't believe that. I really, really cannot believe anyone that thought there was obviously going to be shakeup in the industry. But to think that something that benefited so much from the work from home and from the stay-at-home lifestyle that we dealt with through most of COVID, to think that there wasn't going to be a negative effect when that went away, I don't think Zuck misses that.
Can I devil's advocate see this?
Yeah, hit me.
This could have been a reality that we lived in had they stopped printing money. Listen, it's 2020, January 2021, new administration comes in. All they had to do was say, guys, you're all ready to go back to work. People need shit. Back to normal. Instead, they said, guys, here's 2 more rounds of free money. Okay, all right. Gas prices will be going up. And might be in a recession. All they had to do was nothing. And this could have continued. Because if people had gone back to work, whether that was on a hybrid schedule, if life had just gone back to normal when we all unanimously agreed that we could have, and this is not a controversial thing to say.
Now we agree.
Right? We would not be in the situation we were in, right? The situation we're in is point blank because there was too much money fire hosed into the economy. And had that not happened, companies like Meta, companies like Microsoft would have sustained that upward trajectory. Instead, 11,000 people.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah. 13%.
11, hold on. I just need to see something. Max.
What could you possibly? I'm gonna do the Jeopardy music.
So hold on. So there is a B tier stadium on Long Island. It's where the Long Island Islanders, the hockey team, used to play.
I've seen the Islanders.
Okay, I think they might be back there.
Oh yeah, it was a new one.
It's called Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah.
Holds 14,500 people. So you almost filled up an entire Coliseum with people who are now out of a job.
Yep. In a struggling economy.
Yeah. I find it interesting, though, that the Reality Labs AR/VR division pursuing Meta's metaverse vision has posted cumulative operating losses of more than $30 billion since 2019.
That's a lot.
How does that happen?
How long do you think they could have kept 13,000 people employed with $30 billion?
I think maybe you don't listen. It was a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. Facebook is toxic. Let's change the name. It's Meta. Let's flood this division with money. It's not working.
Too bad.
We're here now.
You think? Do you really think? Because like his obviously the way Meta is going is they're going to building the metaverse. Do you really think he would sync Meta for like to make sure that his AR VR product works?
I think he thinks he's a Microsoft, and he's not. Facebook is bleeding ad rev. Apple took them by the knees when they installed their new privacy measures, like their ad tracking measures. You see big ad spend down in a huge way on Facebook. That's why if you run any type of social media agency, you're actually kind of going back to Facebook because the organic push right now is there because there's less money in the system, right? Yep. It's a supply and demand type thing. Zuckerberg will win one way or another before he runs out of money. However, he certainly can't play the game as long as a company like Microsoft. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so he can afford to fail, but he can't afford to fail as much as Microsoft can afford to fail.
He can't afford to fail for as long as Microsoft would.
Yeah.
They're 30 billion since 2019. That's a fucking obscene number.
And like, I guess for me, the AR VR it doesn't seem like it's going to be the investment for a good amount of time, where I don't think you need to sink that type of money to eventually be a big player in that avenue.
So I'm inclined to agree with you in the sense that I'm always preaching that it's better to own the shovel than to find the diamond kind of thing, right? Because you get a lot of people buy shovels, but only one person finds the diamond kind of thing. How do I put this? I think the most valuable job skill in the next 10 years will be the ability to manipulate and narrate AR, VR, and machine learning. I don't think this will, as a video editor, right? I saw this video that Meta put out where it's like text to video, where you just type in drone shot, cinematic, gritty music, style of Michael Bay, and it'll generate it for you. Fuck.
Yep. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. As soon as you hopped onto the like machine learning piece of it,
but you have to have somebody who is good at narrating, because you can talk at the wall for hours and eventually the computer will give you something you want, but being able to eloquently speak and narrate and translate brand vision is going to be the most valuable skill in the next 10 years. Where it's like brand X comes to me and they say, hey, Bobby, we want a commercial. This is what we want it. We kind of want it like this, that, and the other thing, right? I speak editor. I speak production. I know enough that if this guy goes and tries to fiddle around with this, he'll get it, maybe, right? Like he'll get something more impressive than he could ever make on his own. But if I go in there and I say, I want a dolly shot with cinematic lighting, I need a 3 lighting setup, I want it in ProRes, I want it colored like this, I've now I have the power because I know how to speak to the machine. That applies to machine learning, it applies to AR, it applies to VR, and I think that is the play here for Zuckerberg, for anybody dabbling in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think it's even more so the play for Meta and Mark Zuckerberg, because they're also in the social media industry, where like this will immediately be applicable to their service. Like the metaverse drastically benefits companies like Meta because they have something immediately intangible to offer in the metaverse.
Yep.
And something hot in high demand right now.
Hot and sticky metaverse.
Yeah. But as we talk about the metaverse, we're going to get to the most serious topic we've ever had on Playconomics. This topic, it involves a death. It does. Potential death, actually. And this article comes to us by Business Insider. The Oculus founder, who was later fired by Facebook, created a VR headset that could kill people in real life if they die in the game. And Bobby, I want to get your take on this and what you think. Why this?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Sign me up, Chief. Jesus Christ. Finally.
Wait.
Do me the favor.
I am waiting for the YouTube algorithm to post me a video that says user beats Elden Ring with Death VR headset. That's it. Melania, one shot. Death headset.
Sign me up. Is there pre-orders now? Jesus, this sounds like exactly the type of product I need in my life.
So the story behind it is the dude made it as a art piece to remind himself that games should be worth living for and some blah, blah, blah artist crap. However, it's just a piece of decor that will be in his room. However, nobody has tried it yet. And it does work. Like, if you were to boot that up, play a video game and die, it would explode and kill you. But no one's used it because no one wants to risk that for obvious reasons. Imagine you miss the power button on the side to shut it off right before you die, and instead you hit like the minus button.
Delete me.
Yeah. Oh yes.
This is like supervillain money, like where you have so much money you just end up doing dumb shit like this.
Yeah. And it's also to get somebody that was I think this was kind of a look what I used to do with the Meta's Oculus kind of conversation. Like, why is this?
This is a cute article. I'll allow it. But I do want to, as we round out our episode here with some viewer questions. You ready for some viewer questions, Matt?
I'm so ready.
Now, Matt, you might be thinking to yourself, Bobby, I'm a viewer. How do I submit a question? Well, boys and girls, frogs and squirrels, there's a QR code on your screen. If you scan that QR code, you yourself can join the rest of the Playconomists in the Discord, where each and every week we put up a thread about what we're going to be talking about. Solicit you for your sweet questions, comments, concerns, complaints, thoughts, ideas, ramblings, and other general incoherencies. And boy, do you deliver. We've got some questions here that, again, the CPA... do we want to go CPA? No, let's go with Pete. Because Pete's got you in his crosshairs. Pete writes, Bobby, I'm sorry for your loss. Get him next time, champ. Fuck People magazine. And also, when is Matt finally going to play Dark Souls 3? And I think you owe Pete, the viewers, God, and myself an explanation.
I would like to note that I've explained this.
You have, but I want it again.
I'm not even saying to the Playconomist in general. I've explained this to Pete multiple times why I will not really go into the Dark Souls world even after enjoying Elden Ring so much, because I didn't like Dark Souls because I was throwing my face at a wall over and over and over again, and there was nothing else for me to do. It was just either grind or face smash the boss until I beat it.
Or get good.
Impossible. Impossible.
There's going to be people who've beaten Dark Souls 3.
Have not power slid. Cannot beat it. However, Elden Ring offered the experience of when something was frustrating, when something was too above my skill level and I should just out-level it and so I could be able to compete with everybody. I was able to do that in a plethora of different ways. I was able to grind mobs right outside, just like in Dark Souls 3. Or I could go to a completely different part of the map, potentially still progress the story forward, and find a bunch of side things that I didn't find when I played my Dark Souls 3 run. And Rebuttal.
There's no rebuttal. I mean, listen,
And
if I could beat Dark Souls 3, you could beat Dark Souls 3.
No, I'm not saying I
You
can't.
probably can't beat Bloodborne, though.
Stop. You know why I can't beat it? I can't beat it because it was on an inferior product, and literally the frame rates would kill me.
Yeah,
That's
no,
why
don't go back to Bloodborne after playing Elden Ring. It is rough frame rate wise. Still a masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's all you got. That's all you got for Pete. Pete's out here laying his life on the line. I don't know what Pete does for a living, but I'm assuming he's a special forces operator.
No. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, he is. That's exactly. Pete's a SEAL.
Okay.
Pete is a Navy SEAL.
Speaking of people who are Navy SEALs, the CPA, the SEAL PA,
Oh, I see what you did there.
really stretched that one. He asked last week, and I told him I'd give him an answer this week on some Black Friday deals to keep an eye out for. And my first one's going to be a cop-out, so buckle up. The Black Friday deal that I have for you is a PlayStation 5. Literally anywhere that you can find one, buy one. And no, I'm not saying on eBay from a scalper. Bro, I have seen them at Target. You've been to my Target.
Wild.
They are in the wild.
They're in the wild.
That's my Black Friday deal to you. If you can, been waiting, you're literally out of excuses. Buy a PS5.
Not everyone has released their Black Friday stuff, so we're going to save it till next week to really discuss the Black Friday and any super, super cool deals we see, but probably still not going to discuss it. Sorry, CPA. And
Wow,
then there was...
doing it to him like that, huh?
My fault, CPA. I think there was one more question. Oh, no, it was just a very, very astute, very smart comment by Thick Grape mentioning that the best game ever is actually World of Warcraft.
And with that, blocked. Immediately blocked. Immediately kicked out of the Discord. Listen, there's some heinous shit in the Discord that will not get you banned. We're big on free speech here.
Yeah. But
you even type out the letters before you hit that second W, banned. Banned.
Regardless. We already gave you our pitch. Like, subscribe, follow us on all social medias. We're there. Remember, be real and happy gaming.
People Magazine. And you took it all from me. You took it all from me. You took it all from me.
God damn it.